Hello guys, welcome to another video series from IT Sense. My name is Faisal, and in this video series I'll talk about Azure Windows Virtual Desktops, or Azure WVD. Well, if you are here and in this channel and searching for WVD, I don't have to tell you much, or I don't have to sell it to you that what's Windows Virtual Desktop is, right? Well, if you have been to my channel, you know that I have covered Citrix VDI in the past. Believe it or not, I did a series on Horizon View, but due to some technical difficulties, I scrapped the whole thing. Maybe sometime in the future, I may upload it in with a newer version. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is VDI, it's not a new concept, right? We have seen that. We know that you can deploy it in your environment. There are different vendor solutions. Citrix Zen Desktop is one, VMware Horizon View is one, and Windows Remote Desktop has been there in the past. It's not something new. The only new twist this time is it's in the cloud and in Microsoft Azure, and it's much more better and enhanced than what it was before. And as I said, Windows Virtual Desktop, it's basically VDI in Azure Cloud. So Azure provides all the infrastructure and high complexity for you, so you don't have to worry about security and deploying gateways and all that stuff. You can set up a multi-session Windows 10 deployment, an image that support multi-sessions and deliver full and complete Windows 10 experience to your user with scalability. You can also virtualize Microsoft 365 applications for enterprise and optimize it to run in multi-user environment. Later on in demo, I will show you that when I will be deploying an image, there are some images in gallery that comes with Windows 10 multi-session plus Microsoft 365 applications. So those applications will be installed. You don't have to install them, but you can do some fine tuning and optimize them and optimize the image as whole. So you could bring your existing remote desktop services on Windows desktops and applications to any computer. You can virtualize both desktops and application, create your own customized images, and add your own business related apps if you want to. You can manage Windows 10, Windows Server, and Windows 7 desktop and application within a unified management experience, all from the Microsoft Azure portal. As simple as that. Key components. With, of course, with Windows Virtual Desktop, you can set up a scalable and flexible environment, complete fully virtualized environment in your Azure subscription without deploying any additional gateway servers, publish as many host pools as you want, and host pool consists of your session hosts who cater sessions for your end users. So you can define how many number of hosts you want, how many multiple sessions they can handle, and how you would like to load balancing, how you like to load balance across your session host. All it's just simple tick or few clicks. You don't have to deploy any specific load balancers or anything. So it's very simple. As I mentioned earlier, you can bring your own image for production workloads or take it from Azure Gallery, which has thousands of images or hundreds of. We talk about specific version of Windows. Of course, reduce cost with pooled multi-session resources, right? Pool session means that there is no persistent desktop for anybody. It's like randomly assigned desktops. And profile management, it also provides you a great tool called FS Logic. And with Windows 10 Enterprise multi-session capability, that brings the virtual desktop experience and to know to a whole new height, I would say. On top of that, your old-fashioned remote desktop session host, which you used to run on Windows Server in traditional Citrix or remote desktop environment, that's still there. You can still deploy it, and you can greatly reduce the number of virtual machines and operating system overhead, right? Without providing with providing the same resources to your end users. And as I said, you can provide individual ownership through personal desktop if you want, which will be persistent desktops. You know what I mean? Those of you who are familiar with VDI. So user will always get the same desktop. It won't be pooled. So it'll be like a dedicated desktop for a user. If your organization can afford that, had enough licenses, can go for this approach as well. You can deploy and manage everything from Azure portal, PowerShell, and REST API interfaces, full publish full desktops or individual remote apps like what we do with other solutions, right? On a workspace, user log into it. As far as client is concerned, there is a web-based client, plus there is a fat client for Windows Virtual Desktop, a software that you need to install it. Um, which device you will use? Of course, you can have a Windows device, you can have Android device, you can have Mac OS, you can have an iPad, you can have any sort of a device, or of course some laptop or anything. Different varieties of even Android. I think I did mention that. So yeah, you can use that to connect to your Windows Virtual Desktop environment. Either access an application or connect to the host pool, connect to our desktops or individual application groups. Of course, you have the full capability to do built-in delegation and delegate some roles to different set of users from administrative purposes. Built-in diagnostic services are there to troubleshoot errors. And the plus point of having it all in the cloud is you manage only the image and virtual desktop, not the infrastructure, right? You don't need to manage remote desktop roles, right? Gateways, worried about how the load will be balanced and all that, right? So, of course, like every other virtual desktop solution, you need to assign user or groups to virtual desktops, like you need to do assignments or in other solution called entitlements, right? So the users can connect to their published Windows desktop and applications. And as I mentioned earlier, you can connect from, or they can connect from any device, either the native application or through HTML5 based web client. And yep, it's all secure, all towards was HTTPS 443. You don't have to leave any inbound open ports because it's all outbound. In terms of requirements, I will take you to this link, and this link talks about the licensing requirement. For example, if you want to use Windows 10 Enterprise with multi-session or just simply Windows 10 Enterprise, then you need to have at least these licenses, Microsoft 365 subscriptions, right? Or yeah, yeah, or Windows 7 Enterprise base. And if you want to use typical remote desktop session host using Windows Server from 2012 R2 to 2019, you need to have RDS CALs. Other infrastructure requirement, of course, you need to have an Azure Active Directory because that comes with Azure. You need to have either on-prem Active Directory and you can sync objects using Azure AD Connect with Azure Active Directory, or you can have Azure AD Domain Services or Azure AD DS. You can have a Windows Server AD in joining with Azure Active Directory, where the user is getting sourced from Windows Server AD and Windows Desktop VM is joined in your on-prem Windows Server AD or you can have your Windows virtual desktop VMs joined to Azure AD domain services. I have in my lab environment, I have a hybrid of a situation where, let me just show you real quick, but let me just go through it real quick. Of course, you need Azure subscription, and this is the supported clients and supported OS images that you can push or deploy. And just go through this link and you will know what is the situation that fits your organization. This is the interesting part. For this lab, first of all, I have an on-prem Active Directory called itsense.local, right? And on-prem, I have Azure AD Connect server. And this Azure AD Connect is syncing my user accounts to Office 365, which is basically Azure AD, right? So Azure AD Connect is syncing my on-prem users and groups from on-prem Active Directory to Azure Active Directory. However, if you see, I don't have any express route or site-to-site VPN to Azure. So it means when I will provision Windows virtual desktops, they cannot join my on-prem Active Directory, right? For this purpose, I will deploy Azure Active Directory Domain Services or ADDS. And my Windows Virtual Desktop server or Windows Virtual Desktops machines, Windows 10 machines, will join Azure Active Directory Domain Services. Okay. In addition to that, I have some infrastructure VM like a file server and all. They will also join Azure Active Directory Domain Services. So basically, how does it work? That if you sync your on-prem AD or Active Directory to Azure Active Directory via Azure AD Connect, and you deploy Azure Active Directory domain services, Azure Active Directory will automatically sync those objects to Azure Active Directory domain services. This is a solution for those organizations who wants to have certain group policies and wants Windows Virtual Desktop joined to a domain. However, they don't have express route or site-to-site VPN, so their Windows Virtual Desktop cannot join on-prem AD. So, so the workaround or the solution is deploy Azure Active Directory domain services so that your Windows Virtual Desktop VMs or Azure VMs can join Azure Active Directory domain services. Of course, Azure Active Directory domain services also allows you to create group policies and create OUs. Not as flexible like on-prem AD, but still better, much better than not having something at all. Okay. As far as the clients is concerned, this client shows, or this diagram shows that you can have variety of client. You can have a Azure Windows Virtual Desktop client, which is a Windows application. It can be installed, all right, on Windows desktops, as well as it's available for different flavors. Plus, you have a web-based client, which is just a URL, which is HTML5 based client. You can use any device to connect to Azure Virtual Desktop and access your virtual desktop or published applications or both. In my case, in my demo, I will show you both how to publish Windows Virtual Desktop, uh, I would say host pool, which will consist of session hosts and I will use Windows 10 multi-session image along with Microsoft 365 applications. And in another video, I will show you how to create custom image. So with Windows 10 multi-session image with Microsoft 365 apps plus your own customized apps and how to use that to deploy session host in Azure Windows Virtual Desktop environment. So, yep, I will demonstrate to you that, and I will demonstrate also to application publishing. And I will show you using Windows Virtual Desktop Client as well as the web client. Okay. And last but not the least, internally, I have one Windows 10 machine where I will install Azure Windows Virtual Desktop Client to demonstrate this feature. Okay. So that's it. I think it's all I have explained all. And if I can go back to this slide real quick and give you a couple of abbreviations. When I'm using this terminology called host pool. So what's host pool, right? It's a collection of session hosts. And what are session hosts? It's VM that will be hosting sessions from clients, like your RDS server, your Windows 10 with your Windows 10 VM with multi-session capabilities, right? Or your RDS server, or maybe you are not using Windows 10 multi-sessions and you want to create a host pool that consists of hundreds of or 400 of Windows 10 virtual machines. And those machines will be part of pool. Let's say you have 600 users, you have 400 desktops, so they will be pooling around. I mean, nobody have a dedicated desktop. Or you can use persistent, where everybody have its own dedicated desktop, right? Concepts, if you if you compare, guys, concepts are exactly the same, whether it's Citrix Virtual Desktop or Horizon View Virtual Desktop solution or its Microsoft solution. I would say, first of all, that reminds me something. I'm very grateful to Microsoft and very, very thankful to them because first of all, they make great products. Azure is one of my favorite cloud, or actually my favorite cloud. And another thing, Microsoft never restricts you. They give you full freedom to utilize their or test out their products. Whether it's a software product that you can download as an eval for 90 days or 180 days or 120 days, or a cloud solution like Azure or Office 365. I have I have produced several videos and tutorials and quite a lot of things in my job based on those test subscriptions, or trial subscriptions. And that's the beauty of it. They never ask a single question. Unlike other vendors, I won't say name, I wanted to produce a video series because they had a cloud solution, and I went I signed up for a demo, and I did not get demo license for that particular module that I wanted to demonstrate for you guys, right? And then a month later, I got an email from their sales rep and says, okay, you have asked for this demo. I want to talk to you and blah, blah, blah. What's the purpose? Are you interested in buying that? No, I said, no, I'm a small YouTuber. I like to share knowledge. I have done this for blah, 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 and I want to do some videos so that I can share my knowledge and my experience. I have worked with that product, by the way, in my job, but I can't use the same environment to demonstrate something, right? So I needed a trial environment. So I said, yeah, I worked with this product, but I need a trial subscription or a trial license so I can do this and create some tutorials. Since that day until this day, it's almost in a year, I never heard of them back. Anything, total silence. They never came back to me. Anyway, maybe my channel is too small or it's something they are not interested in anyway. But what I'm trying to say, Microsoft, no. Plain, simple, get what you want, just sign up and you have it. Use it and test it. So big respect to Microsoft and kudos to them. Oh, anyway, guys, so I think I have explained enough. So now it's demo time, and I will see you in demo video, which we will proceed shortly, and I will start with deploying Active Directory domain services in Microsoft Azure. Okay, so see you in the next video. Please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.